Africa, including South Africa, unable to meet their water requirements. And research conducted by the Worldwide Fund shows that pollution in South Africa is so serious that at least 11 out of 19 water management areas have supply problems, and at least 14 million South Africans do not have access to safe drinking water. Organizations have already begun working together to solve the water crisis, but one company has already made water flow in the Northwest Province. And joining us in studio is educational consultant at GreenSource, Mr. Reza Bardien. Reza, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, viewers.
You know, Reza, we're just talking about how water is such a fundamental source. And I mean, South Africa is currently facing its worst drought in years. How did GreenSource come about? What is GreenSource?
So I think what's interesting is, having been involved in education for the last 25 years, we've typically been focusing on the educational requirements. And I think the physiological requirements for a learner to be able to have a meaningful experience in terms of learning and education is absolutely essential. And I believe in 2010, a number of Dutch engineers had actually come to South Africa for the 2010 World Cup. And they realized the need and the necessity for water and for sport. And they, in fact, combined the two. They then approached the Dutch government, and the Dutch Department of Foreign Affairs had agreed to sponsor the first 20, or subsidize the first 20 GreenSource solutions, which for me is exciting because it's an integration of sport, water purification, education, health, infrastructure development in communities, etc., etc. And it's one of the few solutions that I've seen that's so well integrated to address some of the very basic requirements, I think, in communities, especially in South Africa, that are battling with fundamental challenges like drought. So if you visit the very first global pilot of GreenSource, which is at Moodville Secondary School just north of Rustenburg, what you'll first see is a 6-a-side artificial turf soccer field. Beneath that, very innovatively, it has the potential to store something like 64,000 litres of water.
Wow.
And that, in fact, is then pushed through a number of purification systems, including a first-line filtration system. The entire system has the potential to generate something like 17 million litres of fresh drinking water per annum. Now, for someone like me who's an educationist, what does that really mean? That actually translates potentially into about 200 households in the vicinity of the GreenSource solution that could actually be provided with clean, fresh drinking water on an annual basis.
Wow.
And that for me is very exciting.
Very exciting indeed. But do tell us about the impact that the GreenSource system, Reza, is now having on the schools and communities at large.
So if you think again about how Moodville Secondary School got selected, this is a school, it's a rural school, where learners in fact were drinking untreated borehole water regularly. And what we picked up was that they were often getting ill. They were therefore missing school. So it had an impact not just on their health, but also on their ability to have uninterrupted schooling. And this impacted on their performance as well. So the community itself around Moodville School at the moment, which is the first pilot globally, as I said, currently for the first time has access to fresh drinking water. And I think we underestimate the importance of that, the ability for a learner to be able to sit in class and concentrate and further their studies is dependent on them having access to the clean drinking water as well as nutrition and healthcare, etc., etc. So for me, that integrated approach, I think, is very important. And then you add in, obviously, the physical activity, good choices in terms of sport, the ability to seed sporting skills at a school level, and have those learners, in fact, rise through the system and hopefully play for Bafana Bafana and Banyana one day.
Absolutely, Reza. Now, look, you've told us about the capacity of litres that it can actually maintain for those communities. But how sustainable is the system? And just how much would it take to keep it running?
So this is the other exciting element for me, and that is it becomes a community-owned asset.
Okay.
And I think for the first time, I'm seeing the potential for communities to generate their own clean drinking water. And that's exciting. They're not dependent on the supply from an external source. This means that any source of water, whether it's borehole, river, or rainwater, in fact, can be captured. It can be processed into clean drinking water. And if you beneficiate that water even further, what we're looking at right now is the potential, for example, to add on local economic development services like aquaponics, hydroponics, standard agriculture. And in some instances, some communities are even starting to look at the prospect of bottling water. And I know it's a sensitive issue, but there's potential where there's surplus drinking water generated through the system that it could actually be beneficiated further and contribute towards the local economic development of the community.
Look, very quickly, Reza, I know they're going to kill me. We've run out of time, but I mean, we understand that 20 GreenSource systems have already been installed in South Africa, but there is an event to launch it today. Tell us a bit about that very quickly.
So very quickly, the Dutch government and partners and the South African partner, which is Mampula Consulting, have agreed to subsidize 20 GreenSource systems. One of them has been implemented. That's the one at Woodville Secondary School currently. So today, in fact, there's a soccer tournament taking place involving the learners from Woodville as well as the community to demonstrate and I think to be able to showcase and launch this phenomenal integrated innovative solution.
Let's hope you take it nationwide, Reza. Thank you so much.
Good to meet you.
Thank you so much for that. That was educational consultant at GreenSource, Mr. Reza Bardien, and he was telling us about one solution to the current water crisis.